Oh, Tasmania's coming up. The Hardline in Tasmania.
Yeah, I just want you to talk about Hardline because I think it's having you at Hardline is like, I think probably everyone listening would agree. It's like having a mate there that can tell you what it's really like.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. That's what your videos are to me. It's like, oh yes, Jono's at Hardline. Your content. If you think about this year
was tough because I presented last year because I hurt my ankle and couldn't ride. I was worried that then I wouldn't be in the mix for this year after having a year out because I'm not racing as keenly, let's say. But they allow me back to present again and ride. It was so hard.
Yeah.
Because everyone's practicing and you've got to talk about what they're doing and practicing down with a proper camera crew. And then they're like, oh yeah, we'll change lens if you want to go and do a bit. And you're like, it's such a big deal. That's like the scariest thing I'll ever do on a bike. Scariest competition, most overwhelming thing. And then it's like, oh yeah, go on and then do your jumps.
Yeah.
So that was tough. But then my brother was there and we did the big
Mate, I love
100
that clip of
footers.
you two.
Oh,
I love that
That's
clip.
top moment for me on a bike ever, I think.
Mate, wicked, really.
Ever.
Right, talk me through it then. So
well, we don't ride together that much. It's completely different disciplines. When I'm free, he's not always. I don't dirt jump much anymore. That's what he does, you know what I mean? I don't enjoy skate parks like he does. So we'll do bike park days, which are great, but we sort of do them a lot. So then to have him there at something that's already, like I said, overwhelming and scary, it's his first time. That's a big deal. People who haven't been to these competitions before, your first one is way different because there's a lot of stuff between the big jumps. We say features all the time, but there's loads between them that gets overlooked. That's really tough, and they have sort of smoothed some of that out over the years to generate more speed, to make jumps bigger and things like that. But because they get overlooked, they also get overlooked by the riders that have been there before, and they just focus on the jumps. So then you get newcomers come along. Day one is normally walk the track and then drive up to the big road gap and ride from the landing down. So don't do the road gap.
Yeah.
And then you get into the bottom field jumps. They're big jumps, already, especially the last one. But there's some of the most technical bits of the course getting between that road gap landing and the field jumps. So everyone who's ridden before knows the line through the rock gardens. They do all of that. They do the field jumps, and then they're like, right, do you guys want to go up further and we'll session further up? And you've got people like my brother that are still stood in the rock garden like, well, hang on. I don't know the way through this. It's really tough. It's really sketchy. It's like a big drop to flat coming out of it. And if you don't know the lines in the rocks, you're not square to go off that. And you can't really go off it. If you mess the rocks up, you almost have to stop. And I went up and did another lap, and he was like in there with 2 or 3 others that hadn't been before. Oh, Kyle really? Straight was one actually. And they're like, everyone's rushing off. We haven't even got to the jumps at the bottom yet. But we can't get off this drop because we don't know this bit. So I think that's definitely overlooked, and it shows what an advantage being there 2nd, 3rd, 4th years is.
You don't have to learn those things, so you can focus on actually going quick, or you can focus on other features that are new.
It's more of the focus thing. Your muscle memory gets you through those bits, and then
right.
Like you see when Bernard's obviously very fast there, and he pushes down off the jumps and he races the jumps because they're not big new things to him anymore.
Yeah.
He's been there enough that it's now like, how do I actually save time?
Well, I mean,
did Jackson not win on his first visit this year? Correct me if I'm wrong. I remember that was a stat
Jackson
when I was presenting, which was everyone was shocked about. Yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah. So, well, actually, when you think about it, why is Bernard so good there?
So brave.
The reason is
obviously a great downhill racer. He tests the jumps. You know, going back to you testing the street races and things.
Yeah,
there's something to be said for that. G's done it historically, but has been injured the last few times. So Bernard's.
If you want to see more, just click here. Is it?
Yeah, it's up there. Should be up there.
About there.
Yeah, about
and
there.
And then there's other ones here.
Other ones there that you might like.
We're all looking after each other, and that's Christmassy, and that's the ride companion.